we stand at a hinge in history. On one hand, emissions are still rising, and the political will to act seems paralyzed. But these politics reflect calculation, not reality. The real change is being driven by the exponential curves of technology, economics, and human ingenuity, relentlessly pulling us toward a clean energy future. Even as the politics have stalled, the profound course correction is already underway. 10 years ago, the world chose a direction. They committed to an unprecedented economic transformation. That transformation is now unmistakable. Since 2015, the annual growth rate of global CO2 emissions has slowed dramatically. Fossil fuel demand is plateauing and even falling in large economies, including China. The warnings are urgent, but the economic momentum is accelerating, and it's changing the power dynamics forever. The world's clean energy future is no longer being decided in the boardrooms of the old energy powers. The power has shifted to the bustling cities and industrial corridors of the global south. This new industrial Sunbelt holds 70% of the world's wind and solar potential, and it's sparking new industries, like green ammonia and clean fuels. This new kind of growth is creating skilled jobs, strengthening energy security, and giving these nations powerful new export markets. China clearly sees this opportunity. Their solar exports to the global south have doubled in the past 2 years, now surpassing sales to the traditional global north. Shipments to Africa alone surged by 60% last year. These panels are generating more than just electricity. They're generating huge savings for people and businesses. Consider Nigeria. Until recently, businesses relied on expensive, polluting diesel generators to keep the lights on. Now, the cost savings from avoiding that diesel can repay the entire cost of a new solar panel system in just 6 months. That's pure economic incentive. And the shift is happening at lightning speed. Pakistan, which was almost entirely dependent on fossil fuels, expects solar to supply 20% of its electricity by next year. Meanwhile, countries like Oman are turning themselves into global green steel hubs, powered entirely by locally produced green hydrogen. This is the positive tipping point of unstoppable exponential growth. This accelerating deployment means advances in battery storage are rapidly displacing the expansion of gas. The theory of gas as a necessary bridge fuel is looking increasingly outdated. The sheer scale and speed of renewables plus storage are simply leaving it behind. Unable to compete in the electrotech revolution, the oil and gas sector has underperformed the broader stock market for the last 15 years. It is now prioritizing shareholder returns and debt reduction, a clear sign of structural retreat. Today, nearly 90% of capital in the oil sector goes towards simply maintaining current production, not increasing supply, but we cannot leave this transformation to the market alone. Nowhere is the urgency greater than in Africa, home to 60% of the world's best solar resources, yet it receives less than 3% of global clean energy investment. Governments must align public and private finance behind the national climate plans. Investment in cleaner energy must nearly triple to around $2 trillion annually in the developing world. Now that COP30 in Belém, Brazil, has concluded, the conference is defined by what it confirmed, where the real power and progress lie. The world marked the moment as both a celebration of exponential cleantech growth and a reckoning for the finance that still must flow to meet the challenge. But the most critical takeaway is this: the era when American politics alone could make or break global climate cooperation is over. The world is no longer waiting for Washington. The global South, having hosted and dictated the agenda, has definitively demonstrated that it is leading the way to the future of energy. What a time to be alive. If you found this breakdown of the global South's unstoppable rise insightful, hit that like button right now. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the forces reshaping our future. Until then, keep an eye on the Sunbelt.